Hi, this is Leanna, the Pastry Queen, and I have another quick video for you about NICU baby quilts or just baby quilts. These are 36 by 36 inch baby quilts. As you can see, I have here 2.5 inch strips. These were some leftover jelly roll pieces, or that I cut from my stash that was in. I have a 2.5 inch bin of fabric. And so I found these and I took them out because I thought they would look darling with this fabric. So I had four, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 fat quarters. That's what this is. And I cut them up. So that was one of them, and that's another, and another. So from these 4 fat quarters, I cut up 1, 2, 3, 6, let's see, 3, 6, 9. 9, let's see, from the fat quarters, 4.5 inches. I had already made one, and this was an extra block I had left. So this is the strip set we're going to make. So I have a 4.5, a 2.5, a 4.5, a 2.5, and a 4.5. I believe that's what I ended up doing. Yes. Oh, why am I measuring that? I have these. So again, I have a 4.5, and okay, so I'm going to do 3 piles here. Let's do 3 piles. And I'm going to show you over here. I'm moving the camera. The 3 piles. Now, what I'm going to do is take this one and move it down, just 1 to the bottom, and take 2, 1, 2, and move this to the bottom, because I'm going to be making strip sets, and I want them to have different fabrics. Then I'm going to take, I'm going to keep one of these and put that aside. And I'm going to take this, and how do I have this? So I have this here. I'm trying to put it in the same direction. So I had that like that. And I have another set. So out of the, and then I have another set of these. I don't remember how many I have, but out of 1 fat quarter, I got 3 4.5 inch pieces and 2 2.5 inch pieces. So now I am going to take and come here to this one here. So I have this little piece here. You see that? And you know what? I may just put these aside because I'm going to have, there's going to be 2 the same. So, you know what? I'll put these 2 as the same. How about that? I'm just going to put these 2 the same. Here. And basically, I'm just going to mix up these here. I'm going to sew this in real time, so this video may be a little bit longer than you'd like, and you do what you need to do to get through it. And then we're going to see what I'm going to do with these. So I'm going to take this and set my machine, and I'm going to sew these 4. And take the next one and move this one down. So I'm going to really just need 4 blocks for these big units in order to make a quilt. That's why when I first made it, I had that extra piece because I did 5 fat quarters and I cut up 5 fat quarters instead of 4. So I had that extra block. So now what I did is I just went ahead and used 4 fat quarters, even though I have 5 different spots. And you know what? things are just going to repeat. I'm okay with that. So I come in here and I will sew this up. It's going to be super cute. It really is going to be super cute. Let's see how long it's going to take us to do this. So that's the first set. Hopefully I can keep it straight. And here is the next. And of course, while we're doing this, we're having fun. We're having a party in our sewing room. But I wish I could play music, but I can't play music because of copyright things in the background. So we're just in a little bit of quiet, but we're having fun. We may be in our sewing room. We're making these blankets. We got music going. If not, we're over here watching some Netflix and sewing, or watching whatever on TV, binge watching something. We could be following along with a live. There's so many beautiful content creators out there. But we are enjoying this. We are loving that we're passing forward these wonderful quilts. I don't know why I want to say a baby blanket. I have to catch myself and really think hard not to say baby blanket. I think it's because we're always so used to saying that. But it really is a quilt, right? And I'm not worried about directional fabric or anything like that. I'm just going to go with the flow. So now I have that last one, and I'm going to find the end of this. And so I know I have 4. 1, 2, 3, oops, and 4. And I'm going to put these aside here. And then I'm going to cut my next ones, which is 1. And I'm trying to keep it in order. 2, 3, and then that's our 4th one. I'm just going to leave that 4th one there. So now I put this down. I'm going to take these 2. And yes, I am going to put this right on there. Oops. Try that again. I'm going to open this up and then put this right on there because I have to open it up. And then we're going to put a 1/4 inch again. Put this all the way through. And I am chain sewing, so I'm going to take that last one that belongs on the bottom of this one. Just put it right on the bottom there. All right. I'm going to grab our next one, open that up, grab our next line, and we're going to put this on there. And then the very last thing is we are going to put the last 4.5 inch strip. Now you can come up with any size strips you want, and come up with a block size. I'm just showing you basically a technique right now. I'm just showing you a technique. But I am telling you, I took 4 fat quarters and some strips, and out of those fat quarters, I cut 3 4.5 inch and 2 2.5 inch strips. And you get that from, you're going to do that on this 18 inch. So like when you have a fat quarter, you have 18 inch by 21, 22. So what I do is I'm cutting so that the fabric here is not the 21, it's the 18. So I have, because you have 4, 8, 12, 13 and a half, and then you have 5 more. So when you're cutting so that the length of each strip is 18. I hope that I'm making myself clear. So this right here, this length is the 18. So it's the short side. So I take the short side and I cut from there. All right, so here I go. I have sewn that. And we didn't have to trim it up, this fat quarter, because we're gonna trim as we go. And now I'm going to add my last piece onto here. Add it this way. And then we're gonna go and we're gonna press these. And when we press these, just press them however you want, because it's not gonna matter. Nothing is going to, you know, match. We're not matching any seams. So that should be a relief. So I'm opening this up. And I'm opening that little flap up because we want the 4 1/2 to be on the both outer side and in the center, and in between the bars that are in between are 2 1/2. Again, you can make this all out of scraps. If you have a whole lot of 4 1/2 pre-cut strips, just go ahead and grab them. Same thing with the 2 1/2 inch strips. It was just a way for me to use some quick fat quarters. Use up some fat quarters I had. But as you can see, I do need another color. So, and you'll see why. So I just pulled that out of my scrap bin. Of my 2 1/2 inch. And then I have one more to run, and then I will have 4 of these sets here. And I open this up and I'm sewing this to that 2 1/2 inch. Here we are. And then we're going to press. So again, your pieces should be roughly around 4 1/2 by 18, right? Because it's a fat quarter. All right, so here we are. We have 4 of these, we'll call them panels, okay, that we made. Strip panel, panel sets, whatever. Again, you don't even have to do 4 1/2. You can come up with whatever size you'd like, okay? Whatever size. Strips. I was just maximizing what I could get. Whatever size strips. I was playing. And you don't have to also do, you know, let's say, you know, maybe I want to put these 2 1/2 strips on the outside and have the 3, you know, 4 1/2 on the inside. Really, this is really your interpretation of how you want this block to look like. So right now, I'm just pressing. You're probably saying, why are you pressing that way? Press how you want. Iron how you want. This right now is just we are just freehand sewing right now. Free improv, so whatever you want to call it. I'm giving you ideas. Make a quick 36 by 36 inch. All right, so we have that. And then I'm going to move my camera because I'm going to show you how we're going to cut these. So we have our 4 drippy panel things. I'm going to tell you what they ended up measuring. All right, so these, and I have some of these strips. These are ending up to be, let me see, this is going to be 16.5 by 18. So this block is 16.5 by 18. At this point now, what did I decide to cut this at? Hold on. I have then cut this. I had to write myself little notes. I had cut this into 7.5 inch blocks. So how I do this, I'm moving the camera, is I'm going to come here, clean off one end, make sure that these lines are on the sewn lines. And I cut 7.5 from this. So you just basically need to make a strip set that is 16.5 inches long, okay? So, in whatever measurements, but I did just give you my measurement. Now I have this little extra piece. I could put that aside for something else. I come here, turn that around, and then I go ahead and I put this accent piece in here. So now I need these 2.5 inch strips, right? And I'm going to cut these into, right, is that what I said, 16.5? I'm cutting these down to 16. Was that, let me see. Yep, 16.5. So I'm going to take this 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is going to be my little accent. Oh, but you know what? That's right. I wanted to put a border around this. So I think I want to put a border around this. I'm going to take this here. I'm going to take 2 of these. These happen to be with a fabric, just to make things easy. Yeah. And I'll show you why in a second. So we're going to put this at 16.5. And really that is exactly 16.5. So there's no way I can get anything off that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to come in here and just snip. And now I have these pieces. So I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to come over here and cut my panels. I'm going to call these strippy panels that are 16.5 by 18. Again. And we are going to cut this. Put that aside. I take this and flip this around and put that. That's another. This is a 4-block quilt that I'm going to put a border around. I'm going to take that. There we are. Again, this segment that I'm cutting is 7.5. Put that aside, and again, flip that around, and our next one. Now at this point, we are about 20 minutes in. Now granted, yes, I went ahead and pre-cut this, but you can get this done pretty good in a good amount of time. Again, I cut up 4 fat quarters, and I took strips from my scraps because when I did the 5 fat quarters, I ended up with an extra one of these, so that wasn't good, but I can make that into something with those cutoffs. That's the good news. All right, so I'm going to take these, bring that over. I'm going to bring these because we're going to use these for binding. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, maybe we'll do something with this. These leftovers. We've always got leftovers. I'm going to move the camera. It's crazy. We sew and sew and sew with scraps, and we still get scraps. It's just mind-boggling sometimes. All right, so we're going to take our pieces we just cut, and we are going to sew them down. Move these aside. You can pin if you like. I'm just gonna kind of line everything up here. And honestly, you can just mix this up too. No one says that you have to keep those together. We can just mix these up. There really is no rhyme or reason, just creativity. This one aside, grab another one. There we go. I have to just pull that up a little, it bent over. Fine. It'll get caught up in the seam. And then we have this one that can go on top. And we'll grab this one here. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to grab our next, as we're going to take this and we're going to, I just use our hands to open that up, turn these upside down, and add them. Again, you can mix and match, you can keep that set together. You can make sets of strip sets that measures 16.5 by 7.5, right? Because theoretically, both sides do not have to be the same. Hold on here. You can make sections. It's endless possibilities and variations that can be made, really. See Did I go good? I did. All right. Always have to look. And over here, the same thing. Get myself on course. I always double check. I don't know why I always think I've done something wrong. Here we are. And take our last one. And here we are. Oh, no, this isn't my last one. This is my third one. We have one more attached at the end. I'm getting all excited seeing this quilt come alive. It's so cool. Here's our last one. Flip that off. Open that up so we have that. And here we are. Now that we have these, just look at this as some kind of modified rail fence situation. That would be a good name. It's a rail fence situation. All right, so we have the 4. We have the 4 here. And now what I'm going to do is press the blocks. We are 26 minutes in. You can press where the seams go towards the 2.5 inch. See, right there, like that. And this is my back. So we can do that. I feel like I'm gonna drop this. There we are. Much better. Have it in a better. Now, again, you press how you want. I'm kind of rushing this because I'm on a video right now. You don't want to be here for hours doing this. There we go. We have them pressed. Fairly good. And now all we're doing is we are actually going to like do a rail fence here. That's for another quilt. We are going to put the one strip going that way and then the other strip going this way. So you see how nothing is going to, and maybe I don't like those, and things are going to touch. Things are absolutely going to touch. Just saying, if you have a design wall, the best thing to do is stick this on your design wall. My design wall right now is occupado with some stuff. Okay, and then this goes this way. So these two do that. I don't like that. So we're going to flip this like that and then put this hopefully here like this. And that's not terrible. I mean, these two touch. Let's see if I do it this way. Yeah, they're gonna just touch. It's just, that's just how it is. It's okay. So now we're gonna sew this like a giant 4-patch. So we're gonna sew this like a giant 4-patch and take that. Again, no seams are matching here. The only seam that's going to match is in the center of the 4-patch. That's the seam that's going to match. And even if you don't match that, I don't think anybody's going to notice because there's a lot going on. It's like a modified rail fence 4-patch. Ooh, that's a big mouthful. That is a big mouthful. And now we're going to open this up And yes, it's on here. It's webbed on here. And flip it over like this. I will pop a pin in the center. And you will just see it will nest itself right where it wants to nest itself. And I come in, I will pin at this point. This is at the beginning, the middle, and a couple of ones in between. Yeah, you know what? We'll put one right where the 2.5 inch strips are. There we are. Okay, and now we go. Now we have our 4 patch. Here it is. It is ready. It is here. It is a modified rail fancy. I don't know what it is, but you know what it is? It's going to be fabulous. That's what it is. Someone's going to love it. That's all that matters. And this, using very little, right? Four fat quarters and some strips that you have, you know, laying around, some scraps. In my case, they were jelly roll, you know, that I cut myself. All right, there you are. So here we have this, and this measures, ready? This measures 32. So now I'm going to take this leftover. Right. Yep. And we are going to go ahead and put these 2.5 inch strips. So these happen to be all matching. They don't have to match. You know, I did it so that they all match, but they don't have to. Reason why I made them match is because I figured it ties in to those bars, the center bar in here. And now, so this isn't quite with a fabric, I can tell you that, because if that measures 32 and normally with a fabric is about 42, I must have used this in some other project. This was a scrap from something. I cut this from a scrap. Which means I will be short because I know that measures 32, right? And this is not quite with a fabric. So I'm gonna have to put cornerstones in this. I didn't even think that I was gonna have to do that, but I think I'm gonna have to put cornerstones in. All right, so at this point I have this. Let me double check exactly this size because I'm gonna have to put cornerstones in. So this measures 32.5. So I'm going to need to have 32.5 inch strips, right? And then put 2.5 inch cornerstones in the corner. So unless I find two other fabrics that kind of match to do the top and the bottom, which is okay too. But let's see. There's basically, I'm pre-recording this live. So now I have this, so 32 and a half. Well, guess what? We have these pieces. We have all these pieces plus, do we have other pieces? Nope, that's it. That's all we have is these pieces. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. I have this, and then I have these. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these right here, and I just need 4 cornerstones. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make them different 4. So you saw that I just ripped that right off. You can use a seam ripper. I'm going to come in here, and this isn't a 2.5 inch piece, is this? Actually, this is a 2.5 inch piece. Okay, so I'm going to come in here. I'm going to grab my 2.5 inch ruler that I have here, and I'm going to trim this down. This is the cutoffs, okay? This is how we're doing it. This is how we roll around here on this channel. And then there we are. I have my 2.5 inch block. I'm going to take this, measure that. That's 2.5 by this. And I'm going to take this one. It's a little bit chunkier. Let me press this. I want to get an accurate 2.5 inch square. Take my little threads out. And here we are. Yes, we're at 2.5. And there we are. So we have our 4 2.5. And now we're going to take these. And we have 2 of these left. Now look, that means I get to use this whole thing. I'm going to press this here. Get an accurate read. I'm going to come here to my table. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to move you all for a second as I reach over and do this. Here we are. So I'm going to just put this on my 1, come all the way over here, and I am going to move myself, and where I see 32.5, I come over here. And I want to measure 32.5. And there we are. So I only had this much that I cut off. So now I have my 32.5. And now I'm going to add my cornerstones in there, which will add, it'll give this quilt a little bit more interest. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna take this one here. Whoops. And put my other cornerstone on here. And we'll just sew this on. And we'll move this one here. Again, you decide how you may want to have all your cornerstones the same. You don't maybe even need cornerstones because you will have 4, you know, jelly rolls with a fabric. It's just this wasn't with a fabric. Didn't know that when I come on here. All right, we're 40 minutes in. So here we are, we have our top. We have pressed here. Now what we are going to do is put on, and hopefully I got this right, we did. I come over here and I nest my first cornerstone, because I guess this we do need to match. And then all the way over here at the end as well, I am nesting this here. I need to cut off this little piece. I will do that after. For the sake of TV, I will do that later. And then I just pop some pins. You know, I just kind of go through, mush everything down, pop a couple pins. Anything that's a little loose will kind of go in. But we did pretty good. So here we are. We have this and put this other one. Now I'm going to line this up and pretend that I have that cut off. You know what, I should back tack over here, which I didn't do at the beginning. So back tack these last in, because right now this is probably going to be long armed or quilted or whatever, and you'll thank me. So there we go. Now we're gonna come over here and look, I have my little cornerstones in. I'm gonna come in here and cut off this little piece. There we go. Very technical, right? So here we are, and I'm going to put in my other. Again, I do pin here, and I'm going to pin where this cornerstone should be. And I'm actually going to look at this eyeball that looks straight. Put that there. Then I'm going to come on this side and put this cornerstone in. And then that's where it's going to nest. I come in here, find the center. That looks good. And then I'll pop a couple pins just to kind of keep everything together. And the next. All right, let's put this through, and we will have, you know what, we will have a baby quilt in no time. And the best part is you're using your stash. This is a good stash buster. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I'm gonna go back. Yes, and I'm gonna go back. That was a little bit long back tack. It's all good. I got it in. So from start to finish, in real time, we have ourselves a 36 by 36-ish baby quilt. And back tack here, and there we go. So with that said, we're 44 minutes in. I'm just gonna press this, and in 45 minutes, we had made, of course, you know, I cut the fabric. The fabric, ironing, cutting, probably won't take you that long. So probably in an hour, you can get one of these done with this, I don't know what you want to call it. But here you are. It is super cute. Look at this. So we have something that looks like this. Quick and easy. I think for a quick baby quilt, it's good. Anyway, you let me know. What do you think of this? I mean, you know, I fly by the seat of my pants, or should I say I fly by the seat of my pajamas when I quilt. So let me know what you think. Everybody have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, pass it forward. And if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, and share my channel. If you wouldn't mind giving me a couple of hypes, I would also appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.